Hello and welcome back to the Strawberin0 channel. Today I'm reacting to SsethTzeentach's Evenicle review, Evenicle review, whatever that is, as heavily requested by Big Gator in the comment section. He told me it's an incredibly wholesome video that will surely be a pleasant experience and that I should probably experience it also with my entire family on the couch because it's just so family friendly. So I'm expecting it will be terrible and fucked up. So let's roll the video and see if the proof comes out of the pudding or however you fucking say that. I might have also just made that up, I don't know.
Hey people, Seth here. Oi oi mina, Setsu kokoni. Today, I'll be returning to the accursed land of Japan to play a game that was gifted to me long ago, Evenicle. Published in 2015 by Alicesoft. Same guys who made one of my favorite games, Sengoku Ran.
I'm assuming this is going to be an explicit game, so I will take a second to say this. Did anybody notice how many fucking hentai games are on Steam right now? It's insane. I scroll down to like upcoming bestsellers or new like hot games and it's 90% is like fucking hentai. I scrolled down, I think yesterday or the day before, the biggest games right now that are new. It was like Street Fighter 7, some fucking other actual proper game, and 5 fucking adult games with disgusting 3D CGI that are like MILF Hunter or Siemens CEO. What the fuck is going on with Steam right now, and why is Valve allowing all of that degeneracy on my boomer platform of choice?
Now, the game got released on Steam with a full English translation. At first glance, I thought this was some cutesy Japanese visual novel with a lot of erotic smut thrown in there without much substance. But this time,
I know that there were explicit games on Steam since like the dawn of the Dark Ages, so it doesn't surprise me, but just the sheer amount. Like, I swear, the next step, they're gonna start putting it in that tab right at the top where they promote the biggest games or deals. It's just insane to me.
Aster, a man with a dream and a simple purpose to marry both of his sisters. Quite typical as anime plots go. Also, don't worry about the anime art style. I've done some clever substitutions to make this video more approachable by a Western audience. Enjoy. However, in this world, every human is bound by a set of divine laws devised by Holy Mother Eve herself, the creator of this world and all of its inhabitants. You can only screw one person. The person you screw is the person you marry.
I am surprised this game has any plot at all.
By the Dark Souls logo, and you become an outlaw. Anything an outlaw grows will wither away and die. Any animal they tend to will get sick and die. Anything they ever create will fall apart and become useless. Because outlaws can't produce anything, they have to steal, plunder, and murder just to survive. So, to avoid getting your ass cursed for the rest of your life, you gotta follow the law. This law sounds good on paper. In practice, it's absolutely dysfunctional and creates a social class of people that are forced into criminality and have no hope of reintegrating with society. While Eve is the creator.
So basically just Japan. If you went to prison once in Japan, you are branded for the rest of your life. Also, what the fuck is that?
Of humanity, that doesn't mean she's not completely retarded. Eve has essentially created an artificial apartheid state which defines human as anyone following her law and dehumanizes anyone who intentionally or unintentionally strays from her path. And by this I mean you can become an outlaw against your will. If you get kidnapped and forced into a struggle snuggle with your captors, guess what? You become an outlaw because you did not participate in monogamy. And for that reason, you are cursed and damned for all eternity to carry the Dark Souls trademark. Essentially, your own god, your own mother, your own creator participates.
This is already getting good, and I'm assuming that's the more digestible part
There
of this
is,
video.
however, a tiny loophole. Becoming a knight, a defender of a realm, a paragon of virtue, who is sworn to protect humanity from monsters and from people of a lower socioeconomic background. Fuck 'em. A knight of significant standing has incredibly strong genetics. Genetics which the goddess recommends spreading far and wide, so that later generations can make use of their strength. Which means the higher your rank, the more wives you're allowed to have. Is a game about doing
That's certainly a perk of your fucking job.
great deeds, crushing evil, and saving the world, just so you can grow your ever-expanding harem. That's right, the ultimate goal of Evenicle is polygamy. But you know what? I played it for the story, the lore, and the backplot, and I feel not an ounce of
What the fuck is with the enemies in this game? He fought soldiers, bees, and like banagers? What?
shame saying this, because I am a red-blooded male, damn it. Anyway, you and the rest of the gang / harem travel the world solving spooky Scooby-Doo mysteries, and that's about it. Oh yeah, also, some organization is using geopolitical tension and unrest to engineer a world war, because they believe humanity would greatly
kinda like,
benefit from having another
Kinda like Morrowind.
generation of boomers. Gameplay.
Jesus. What is going on with the enemy designs in this game? What the fuck is...
Any questions? No? Yeah, I think the footage is quite self-explanatory. Quite obviously, is a turn-based JRPG. You make the move, you kill the monsters, you get the cash money, and you get the opportunity to level up. Because you can't just level up immediately in this game. You have to visit a telemarketing company or buy a pre-recorded level up sound from your local retailer. I'm not making this up, by the way. The Merchants Guild also makes an appearance in this game, since every merchant is either a cross-dresser, a trap, or transitioning into a trap. Over time, you rank up.
That's not a word we use anymore, Seth. I'm sorry. You're cancelled.
As a knight, you spray baby batter inside another woman, and your party expands. Up to 5 people, by the way. But the most important question on everyone's
Oh yeah, that's a 5-people party. Isn't that weird? Usually it's 4, right? In like any turn-based RPG that I played, it's usually 4.
mind, what about pregnancy? Well, don't worry about that, because in Evenicle,
I did not need to see that today. What?
everyone uses contraceptive
I'm just
magic.
gonna let
How
the
that
video
works is
play.
a mystery, a convenient mystery. You know what else is convenient? Evenicle can be played entirely with one hand, which is ideal for people who've suffered a hand or wrist injury, such as myself. If
Very
you're suffering from
thoughtful of
same
the developers
affliction,
to
I do
include
recommend
that.
a water-based lubricant to speed up recovery. So, if you have a son, your wife's son, or a grandson, I would recommend buying them Evenicle this Christmas so they can work past their untimely disability. The game itself is quite linear, and your time will be split between combat and
I
reading.
cannot get
Surprisingly,
over
the dialogue is actually quite good. I dare say it's very
I
entertaining.
cannot get
there
over
are
the
choices
enemy
you can make
designs.
during this game,
Jesus
but
fucking
much like
Christ.
Western RPGs, these are false choices that don't actually make a difference.
Yeah, that's pretty much any Western video game with deep choices.
Criticism. Now, while the story and the narrative are very interesting and captivating, I must explain something to you that I cannot stress enough. This game is not for the faint of heart. I've seen some shit. I
there
can't show
we go.
you what I've seen, but through the clever use of imagery and metaphors, I can describe it to you, because I'd like to share my traumatic experience. Think of a woman as a bowling ball, because just like a bowling ball, a woman has correct. She's got 3 of them. Think of a man as a delivery man. What does he deliver? Sausage. But he can only deliver one at a time. The very first H scene in this game involves a bowling ball. A marriage married bowling ball getting stuffed with multiple sausages without consent. However, consent or not, the fact she had multiple sausages inside her makes her an outlaw. Realizing this, she desperately tries to remove a Dark Souls logo by severing her own fingers.
Jesus
After being told
Christ.
she can't just remove From Software's trademark from her body, that it will grow back on a second finger, she begs you to remove every finger, every toe, and every digit that could possibly hold it. This same
that's
bowling
not
ball
how that
can't really
works,
catch a break,
Sam.
since later on she gets stuffed all over again. The risk of pregnancy makes her lose composure, and she refuses to comply with a sausage delivery. Upon hearing this, one of the delivery men exits the scene and returns soon after with a kettle filled with boiling water, which he intends to use as contraceptive to sterilize her from inside out. Much later on, I actually got close to throwing up.
I agree with the... I agree with the subtitles.
From inside out. Much later on, I actually got close to throwing up. You see, besides delivery men, monsters can also deliver sausage, but this sausage can't really fit inside a bowling ball. So I saw a bowling ball get stretched out and broken by a monster twice their size. But that's not the end of it. I might have left out a tiny detail. Oh yeah, right. The monster was not fed for weeks. He wasn't hungry. He was starving. And I got to hear a bowling ball desperately plead, scream, and cry for her life, begging the monster to please, please, please.
I'm kinda looking and I'm kinda listening, but I'm not really here. Mentally, I'm not here. Mentally, I checked the fuck out a second ago. So let's just get through the last 2.5 minutes of this
her instead of
wholesome video.
Just before it clamps down tighter on her neck, and finally, final score. I give Evenicle an alright out of I don't know what I was expecting, so don't expect objectivity from me. It's a pretty condensed package, a compelling story, good characters, ass, titties, music, and combat that eventually does get quite challenging. Whether in ass, titties, music, and
Is
combat
that a fucking... Is that a fucking Lightning McQueen tank? What the fuck?
actually does get quite
There is such a disconnect between the art style this game is going for and the fucking content. Holy shit.
characters, ass, titties, music, and combat that eventually does get quite challenging. Whether
Just look at the fucking enemy designs and tell me you would expect such traumatic fucking cutscenes in...
intentionally or not, I got a very wholesome conclusion from Evenicle. A game about polygamy. It convinced me that I'm perfectly happy with one woman because more than one would drive me insane. And her name is Catherine, my one and only waifu. And I'm prepared to fight all of you 1v1 on Command & Conquer Generals, or 0 Hour if you prefer, to prove my undying love. Unfortunately, Evenicle is still quite expensive because putting a game on sale is an alien concept to the Japanese. So...
And Activision, because their fucking Call of Duties are like $60 for a game that came out 10
if you don't
years
feel
ago.
right about the price tag or you're not sure, I would recommend trying before buying. And you can grab yourself a copy over here on my... So, what are you in for?
I played non-state approved anime. I told the officer she was well above the age of consent.
How old was she?
357, but she had the body of a 12-year-old. It's because she's a half-dragon sorceress. She's very powerful and mistrustful of humans, so she takes on the form of a child. Oh yeah, and she has a huge, bulging Fuda cock.
Does this keep happening to you? Do you wish there was a better way? Well, there is.
There is no fucking way this is an ad read. What company would allow an ad read with the words bulging? I'm not gonna say that.
Express. Hey, unfortunately, the sponsor didn't like the integration. However, I don't care. And I'm tearing up this contract. As always, more
Gee, I wonder why. But you gotta respect that he actually didn't cave in to the pressure of the external sponsor to keep his, let's call it, integrity.
More content to come, so stay tuned. Also, I now stream on DLive every Sunday on the most unsociable hours possible because ya boy got a contract and he's gonna use the proceeds to fund more hentai commissions. And if you can't catch the live show,
I remember that he did that for a while. I heard that he did a couple of streams that are all archived, I think, on YouTube by now. And he said some pretty interesting stuff about his like personal life during those. And I might check some of those out in the future because I'm really curious what kind of an upbringing does this to a motherfucker.
Don't worry, I upload a summary of our terrible experiences on the second channel. A warm thanks to the many members of our Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. This one, however, is completely free. You're all truly wonderful. Stay warm and have a good one.
Wait a second. That wasn't wholesome at all.